Something unusual just happened inside Alabama's defense, and Kane Wommack didn't hide it. During spring practice in Tuscaloosa, the Alabama coordinator pointed to two true freshmen who are developing faster than expected, even with veterans already in place across the secondary. That alone turns heads. But after reviewing the timing, the roster depth, and how rarely Alabama spotlights young defenders this early, the bigger question changes. This may not be about two promising recruits. It may be an early signal that Alabama's next wave is arriving sooner than anyone thought. So what exactly did Wommack see? And why is it happening this fast? Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you're watching from right now. Every single comment gets read, and something many people ask is how these news videos are made. Simple videos like this helped monetize YouTube channels. If you want to learn how to create channels in this same format, there's an ebook in the pinned comment. Just click the link to see how it works. Something unusual is starting to surface inside Alabama football, and the signal came directly from defensive coordinator Kane Wommack. During spring practice in Tuscaloosa, two freshman defensive backs began drawing attention much earlier than anyone expected. Normally at Alabama, young players take time before stepping into real competition. But this time, something feels different. Because when a coach publicly mentions freshmen during spring practice, it usually means they are already doing something impossible to ignore. And now, the question circulating around the program is simple. What exactly are these two newcomers showing behind the scenes? Spring practice in Tuscaloosa always reveals small clues about the future of the program. Every rep matters, every drill is evaluated, and usually freshmen spend most of that time learning and adjusting to the speed of college football. But during Alabama's fourth spring practice session, Kane Wommack mentioned two names that immediately caught attention: Jordan Edmunds and Gyra Edwards. Both arrived in Tuscaloosa as five-star recruits, highly talented, highly anticipated. But even for elite recruits, contributing early at Alabama is rare. And that is exactly why this moment started to raise eyebrows. Look closer and the story becomes even more interesting. Alabama's defensive secondary is not lacking experience. Several veterans are expected to return across the defensive backfield this season. Normally, that creates a wall in front of freshmen. Playing time becomes extremely difficult to earn, especially in the SEC, where experience often decides games. Yet according to Wommack, both Edmunds and Edwards are already adapting quickly to the defensive system. Jordan Edmunds stands out immediately when he steps onto the field. Nearly 6'3", long arms, the type of reach defensive coaches value when facing modern passing attacks. Length allows a defensive back to disrupt timing, challenge catches, and shrink throwing windows for quarterbacks. And early reports from spring practice suggest Edmunds already shows that presence in coverage. Gyra Edwards brings a different kind of challenge for opposing offenses, more physical, built with size and strength that allows flexibility across the secondary. Players with that profile can shift roles depending on the formation or situation. Against modern offenses that constantly change tempo and alignment, that kind of versatility becomes extremely valuable. But the real story here may not simply be two talented freshmen playing well in drills. The bigger picture involves how college football itself has changed. Over the past few seasons, the sport has moved faster than ever. The transfer portal reshapes rosters across the country. Players move programs more often. Depth charts evolve quickly, and elite programs are increasingly searching for athletes who arrive ready to compete earlier than in previous eras. According to Wommack, Alabama now prioritizes recruits who are physically prepared and mentally ready to absorb complex defensive systems quickly. In other words, the development timeline is shorter than it used to be, and that shift creates opportunity. Sometimes, when a coaching staff installs adjustments in a defensive structure, younger players with the right physical traits adapt faster than veterans who learned a different version of the system. Freshmen enter without habits to undo. They simply absorb what the new system demands. That may be part of what is unfolding inside Alabama's defense right now. Of course, spring practice is only the beginning of the process. Summer workouts still matter. Fall camp will reveal far more. And the speed of real SEC competition often separates potential from readiness. But inside Alabama, the earliest signals often appear quietly. A coach mentions a name during practice interviews. A player suddenly receives more reps. A small comment begins circulating around the program, and over time, those signals become impossible to ignore. Alabama fans have seen this pattern before. Several defenders who eventually became stars in Tuscaloosa first started gaining attention during the quiet months of spring practice. At the time, it sounded like routine development, just another young player progressing well. Then, months later, those same names were making plays on Saturday nights under the stadium lights. That is why the emergence of Edmunds and Edwards is beginning to spark curiosity around the program. No one is announcing starters. No one is predicting immediate dominance. But when a defensive coordinator points directly to freshmen this early in spring practice, it usually means something inside the building has already changed. Depth is growing. Competition is rising. And the next generation of Alabama's defensive secondary may already be forming. In a conference like the SEC, depth in the secondary is not just helpful, it is essential. Passing offenses across the league continue to evolve. Quarterbacks release the ball faster. Receivers stretch the field wider. Defenses must respond with athletes who can match that speed and complexity. If Alabama adds 2 more defensive backs capable of contributing earlier than expected, the impact could extend far beyond a single position group. Rotations become deeper, matchups become more flexible, and defensive coordinators gain more tools when facing explosive offenses. For now, the situation remains a developing story. 2 freshmen, still learning, still adapting, but already forcing conversations inside one of the most competitive programs in college football. And sometimes in Tuscaloosa, the most important developments begin exactly this way, quietly, in practice, long before the first kickoff of the season. So now the conversation turns to you, Crimson Tide fans. Looking at what Kane Wommack revealed during spring practice, do you believe Jordan Edmunds and Gyra Edwards can realistically break into Alabama's defensive rotation this season? Or will the experience of Alabama's returning veterans continue to control the secondary? Share your perspective in the comments and join the discussion. Before closing today's video, there are a couple of comments from the previous discussion that deserve a moment here. Timothy F. from Ozark, Alabama, brought up an interesting point when mentioning the importance of blocking. That observation actually connects with something many Alabama fans understand well. No matter how talented a defense or secondary may be, football still begins in the trenches. Physical play, discipline, and execution around the line of scrimmage remain the foundation of how Alabama has built success for years. When younger players arrive in the program, learning those details early often determines how fast they can truly contribute on the field. So that reminder about blocking and physical fundamentals is very much part of the bigger picture when evaluating any new group of players entering the program. And of course, appreciation goes out to everyone else who joined the conversation on the previous video as well. Even if your name was not mentioned before this recording closed, every comment helps expand the discussion around Alabama football and the future of the Crimson Tide. The Alabama fan community stretches far beyond Tuscaloosa, and every perspective adds something valuable to the conversation. Keep sharing where you're watching from, keep bringing your insights, and keep the discussion going as we continue following everything unfolding inside Alabama football. And if you enjoy following the real stories unfolding inside Alabama football, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay connected. Because inside programs like Alabama, the biggest changes rarely arrive with warning. They appear quietly, and then suddenly, the entire college football world starts paying attention. Roll Tide.